Victoria stood quietly in the back of the funeral home as rain beat against the windows. Her mother had always loved simple things, but her father had chosen the most expensive funeral in the city to impress everyone. Family members walked around wearing designer clothes and expensive jewelry while whispering to each other. Victoria wore a plain black dress with no decorations. It looked simple, but it had been made from the finest Italian silk. She had designed it herself. Her older sister, Miranda, walked over with a proud smile. "Victoria, you really should have worn something nicer," she said. "People probably think you can't afford a proper dress. You're making the family look bad." Victoria looked down at her dress and simply smiled. "Maybe you're right," she answered softly. Miranda walked away feeling proud of herself. Throughout the funeral, Victoria listened as relatives treated her with pity. "Poor girl," one aunt whispered. "She still works in that little clothing shop downtown," another uncle added. "Maybe someday she'll find a real career." Nobody knew the truth for the last 5 years. Victoria had allowed everyone to believe she was just another shop assistant earning a small salary. She drove an old Honda, lived in a modest apartment, and never talked about money. Only her mother had believed in her dreams. When Victoria was a little girl, her mother had encouraged her to draw dresses and learn fashion design. Even when the rest of the family laughed at her dreams, her mother never stopped believing. After the funeral, everyone gathered at her father's house for dinner. Miranda proudly talked about her successful modeling career with Lumiere Fashion House. "This contract is going to make me famous," she said. "Soon I'll be one of the biggest names in fashion." Then she looked toward Victoria. "Unlike some people, I actually made something of my life." Everyone laughed. Victoria quietly helped serve the food without saying a word. No one noticed that she had secretly paid for the entire funeral reception because her father could no longer afford it. The next morning, Victoria arrived at a beautiful office on the 42nd floor of a glass tower in downtown Manhattan. Her assistant greeted her. "Good morning, Miss Victoria." She placed several business files on the desk. "The paperwork is ready." Lumiere Fashion House has officially ended Miranda Santos's modeling contract. Victoria calmly signed the document. Lumiere Fashion House was not just a company she knew. It belonged to her. In fact, Victoria owned 17 luxury fashion brands across Europe and North America. The small boutique where everyone thought she worked had been the first store she opened years ago. She still visited it because it reminded her where her dream had started. Her assistant handed her another report. "Your father's business is close to bankruptcy. James is under investigation at the bank. Miranda owes thousands of dollars on credit cards." Victoria nodded quietly. For years, they had looked down on her while hiding their own problems. A few hours later, her phone began ringing. Miranda was crying. "My contract is gone. They fired me without explaining why. Can you ask someone at your little boutique if they know anyone who can help?" Victoria closed her eyes for a moment. "I'll see what I can do," she replied calmly. A few days later, Victoria invited the whole family to a meeting at Meridian Tower. When they entered the luxurious conference room, everyone looked nervous. Victoria connected her laptop to the large screen. The first slide appeared. Apex Fashion Group. Revenue, billions of dollars. 17 luxury fashion brands, stores around the world. Her family stared in complete silence. "This company belongs to me," Victoria said quietly. Miranda's face turned white. "You own Lumiere?" "Yes, and you canceled my contract." "Yes." Her father slowly sat down. "Victoria. Why didn't you ever tell us?" She looked at each of them. "Because none of you ever asked what I was doing. You decided long ago that I was the family failure." The room became silent. Then Victoria showed another picture. It was taken at their mother's funeral. Everyone had ignored her simple black dress. No one realized that dress was my own design, she said. It was worth over $12,000. Miranda lowered her head in shame. Tears filled her eyes. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "So am I," Victoria replied. "I never wanted your admiration." I only wanted my family to believe in me, her father said and walked toward her. I judged you without knowing the truth, he admitted. Your mother believed in you? I should have done the same. Victoria smiled through her tears. I can help all of you, she said. But from today, we start over with honesty, respect, and no more judging people by what they wear or how they appear. For the first time in many years, the family truly saw Victoria not as the quiet girl, working in a small shop, but as the woman who had built one of the greatest fashion companies in the world, while staying humble enough to never forget where her dream began.